I'm gonna survive 100 days in the mountains with the goal to endure the treacherous terrain and the danger lurking all around me and transform this valley into the perfect cozy base, as long as the goats don't eat me off the mountain. And I spawned right in the mountain, and I have this beautiful view down here. This is the valley where we're going to live. I need wood to get started, so I first have to carefully make my way down all of this snow and don't fall into the creepy caves. Imagine I die on day 1. That would be so embarrassing. Ugh. I'm actually so excited to be living in this area and build a base surrounded by beautiful mountains. Let's make a wooden pickaxe, and now we can look for some stone. At least I won't have a hard time finding stone because there are caves all around me. Please nothing creep on me. I also just discovered that we have bees here, which is going to be perfect because they make crops grow faster and they're a really cute animal to have around. Let's make all of the stone tools, and then we can use all of those caves for our advantage because I'm gonna need coal and iron. Yeah, I kinda don't want to go in this cave, I'm scared. And since we have a mountain full of caves, I don't have to settle for anything creepy crawly. I just found some iron. Perfect. I found coal in this super creepy cavern. I can already see the monsters lurking. Don't see me, don't see me. This is absolutely terrifying. Mine the iron. I heard something. Mine the iron. Don't see me, don't see me. Give me the iron, give me the iron. Where are they? Ah! Oh, the creeper! I should have seen that coming. Ah! Yeah, did I mention I'm scared of caves? Mine. Okay. I should have seen that coming. I should have seen that coming. Look at this cute bunny. This area is totally safe. It's also getting dark soon, but I just saw we have sheep in the valley. This is perfect. I don't want to kill them though. So let's quickly craft a furnace, and then we can smelt all the iron we found. And then we can use that iron to make some shears. And then we can shear the sheep. Give me your wool. There's so many sheep here. I know what my food source is gonna be. I mean nothing. And let's sleep the night away before even more creepers crawl into my valley. Ugh. Hey, at least I didn't die on day 1. On day 2, I chopped some wood to craft into chests to store my resources. Not that I have many resources right now, but I also installed the tree harvester mod, which means chopping down trees is going to be much easier. Basically, when I shift click and then break this, it's going to break the entire tree. Yay! And the leaves decay so much faster. This is gonna save me so much time since we're going to be doing a lot of building. I'm also slowly but surely starving to death, so let's break the grass and hopefully we're gonna get some seeds. Yes, I got one. Let's make a little bit of farmland and then let's plant all of the seeds. I can't sprint anymore though, so sorry sheep. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna survive. I'm also gonna need water for my crops, so let's see if we have any water source around here. I mean, we have this water flowing down the hill, so we just have to swim to the top to collect the water source. The water just keeps going and going. We reached the snowy parts and it's still going. I reached the top. All of this water came from this one single block. Also, hello. I can see my favorite wood type. And there's a pillager outpost. How about no? I think I'm gonna take a different water source because I kind of like the one that's flowing down my side of the mountain. Swimming up the water stream is definitely easier than climbing the mountains. And going down is even more fun. Yay, water slide. And now we can add the water to our crop field. On day 3, my crops still hadn't grown. So I made a shield and decided to go and look for some scalies so we can get bone meal to easily grow our crops, and then we can finally breed the sheep. And then we can eat them. Hello, monsters. Hello? Now that I'm looking for monsters, there are no monsters here. At least I found more iron. Wait, I see a scaly all the way down there. Hello. Not today, thank you. Get wrecked. We got 2 bones, that is perfect. Now we can finally grow the crops. And then I'm gonna make an ugly early game sheep pen. And now we can use the wheat to lure them inside. They're stuck. Seriously? Now we got a bunch of sheep in the pen and we can use the crops to breed them. So now we're cooking. Literally. I just fell in powdered snow! No! No! And after that jump scare, I decided to carefully climb the mountains because the higher we go, the more likely it is that we find iron and more powdered snow. No! And there are goats. And it looks like one already rammed something because it only has 1 horn left. I'm also really curious to see what else is beyond these mountains because the pillager outpost is somewhere over there. So let's see if anything cool can be found in this area. Ah! The goat just rammed me! Anyway, there's the spruce forest over here. We got some oak. Over there's more cherry and there's a village. I mean, since the goats want to eat me off the mountain anyway, I'm just gonna quickly run over to the village because they're hopefully gonna have some food because I can't even run anymore. There are cows and chickens. Come here, cows. I'm so sorry. Hi, guys. I'm gonna steal from you. Oh, yeah. And now we're back in business. On day 5, I basically looted the entire village and took their workstations and their food. But the village also has a blacksmith that's kind of weirdly just hanging there. And the chest in there could have diamonds, but it doesn't. But we got an iron helmet. We can also get some more iron from this poor golem. I'm really sorry. Mountain life is hard, okay? And we got 4 ingots from that. And I just noticed there's another blacksmith over there. Please give me diamonds. Please give me diamonds. Yes! Okay, it's just 1 diamond, but yay, we got diamonds. We almost have a full set of iron armor and an iron sword. Hi, I just stole all of your stuff. I'm also gonna take your furnace and this. Okay, bye! Then I went on a random killing spree to collect as much food as possible, because even though we have a food source in the mountains, it's still gonna take a while for all the baby sheep to grow up and for my crops to grow. And now my inventory is full of resources, so we can crawl back to our base like the creepy mountain troll we are. I hate powdered snow! No! Now we can cook all of our food, and we also found some potatoes in the village, which is yet another food source for us. Let's also craft some iron boots, so now we have a full set of iron armor. And then I'm also gonna make an iron pickaxe, because I'm definitely gonna need good diamond tools if I want to transform this entire valley. And I found this creepy hole right in the middle of my base, and I think we could make a little staircase leading down, and this could be our little mine. Hi, monsters! I'm gonna kill you all. Ah! It's under me! Ha! It shot itself! Stupid skelly. Get wrecked! I missed. Let's light up this entire cave and make it our underground safe space so we can safely mine resources here. I see you. You're not getting me again. Loser. I've never seen this much copper all in one place. Look at this. This entire tunnel is just copper. Ew. Why? Not the deep dark. I mean, the good thing about the deep dark is that no other monsters spawn there. Well, you know, except this big guy who wants hugs. Ah. Oh no. Let's go another way. No, there's another one. Don't mind me. I just want the iron over there. I think the warden only spawns when you activate the sensor 3 times. Yeah, I'm stupid. On day 7, I was still running around the caves, picking up all the iron I could find, while looking for a way down to deepslate without going into the deep dark. No way, I just dug into the wall and I found a geode and a creeper. I definitely need to remember where this geode is, because we could use this for building. I found a cave that kind of goes under the deep dark, so at least I can mine iron here without the sensors screeching. I basically can't do anything but sneak. I can't eat, I can't place down torches. No, that's an ancient city. I mean, they have diamonds, so... Hello, Warden City. I hate it here. Let's just scaffold over to this one chest up there. There are no sensors here, so nothing can activate. Nothing screeched. Whoa! And another efficiency 5. Now this is what I call good loot. Ah! Should we do something stupid and just loot the ancient city? I brought my bed, and now we have a chest, so we could just hide all of our valuable stuff here. Because if we die, I don't want to go back to the warden to get my stuff. I brought my torch, so we can shine a little light into this dark world of whatever this is. I hate it here. Okay, how about I break this? Okay, that didn't count. It didn't count. Open the chest. Seriously? I want diamond armor. Come on, guys. I want that, yes. Okay, let's go and get the diamonds. I still need to sneak, though. I cannot forget that the warden is near. It's just one scream away. Wait, is that an iron vein? Those are super rare. That means it's just... Oh, diamonds! I'm so glad we went here. Nothing has gone wrong yet. And after I mined out tons of iron and the diamonds in the ceiling, my iron pickaxe broke. And then I did something stupid. Guys, I just spawned the warden. I'm so stupid. I'm just gonna wait here, because he cannot go up the stairs, right? He's down there. Hopefully he's gonna despawn. It looks like the warden has left, so let's put our diamonds in a safe place. And let's get back to looting the city. Hello there. Oh, come on, Cole. Really? Ah! He is back. And I'm out of here. Why? No! I hate it here. I'm leaving. I'm definitely too much of a chicken to be in the deep dark. Ah! I never learn. Just run. Just run. Just don't look back. Run and don't look back. Don't look at the Enderman either. I hate everything about this. I waited in the walls until the warden despawned, and then I could finally run out of the scary caves. And on day 10, I finally found my way back to the surface. I can see the sky. No more creepers. Hopefully. But definitely no more warden. And the best thing is, all my crops have grown. But going into the deep dark was totally worth it, because now we have 17 diamonds and we got almost 2 stacks of iron. So our hard work definitely got a warden. And now we can make a diamond axe and a diamond pickaxe and definitely a diamond shovel. And I'm gonna save the rest of the diamonds for later because now I want to work on getting my starter house set up because I feel way too exposed out here with all the creepers lurking in the caves around me. I'm not scared. And one thing I need to build my starter base is spruce wood, so we need to go out of the mountains again. And I hate powdered snow, so I'm gonna make some leather boots. Now I don't feel scared running around the mountains anymore. Okay, now I feel scared again. No! I'm light as a rabbit. I almost fell down there. And just a little bit of walking later, and I found the spruce trees. And of course this space is full of powdered snow, but let's just ignore that and get some spruce wood. And on day 11 I returned to my mountains with a bunch of spruce wood and most importantly spruce saplings so I can grow them here. I'm thinking this area right here can be my ugly early game area where I can grow all of the spruce trees, and then I'm gonna pick a different location for my starter house. And I was thinking this little hill right here will be perfect, so my base could sit right there on this little platform next to the waterfall, and then we can have a path going down to my early game area. But first we need to do a little bit of terraforming so we have enough space to fit a house in here. I cleared out this little space which is just enough to fit a small starter house. I'm also quickly gonna expand my crop field because we need to stay on track with breeding sheep so we can soon have an infinite food supply. But now we can gather resources for my starter house, and this big spruce tree has grown, and I wonder if the tree chopping mod works for this tree. Let's see if it works. It takes really long to break this block. Come on. Oh my gosh, it worked. It took all the durability on the stone axe, but it worked. And next to spruce wood, I also want to use some deepslate in my build, so we have to go back to the scary caves. But I'm not going back to the deep dark. No more warden. So I'm just gonna make a little staircase leading downwards, and hopefully I'm not gonna hit the deep dark biomes again. I hit a cave. No. Hi, Scaly. Bye, Scaly. I finally hit deepslate, and I also found a bunch of iron on my way here. And now we can gather a bunch of these blocks without any creepy crawly deep dark stuff nearby. On day 13, I emerged from the caves with 3 stacks of deepslate. Let's quickly breed our sheep, and then we can start crafting up our resources for the house. And for my starter house, I wanted to go for an alpine mountain cabin kind of style. So I built this really cute house nestled into the side of the hill. And while I was building this cabin, a certain wandering trader has stopped by. He's already trying to escape again, but I won't let him because I'm really interested in his leads. Not so much in his trades though. I'm really sorry. You saw nothing. The inside of my cabin isn't really decorated yet, but we can already sleep the first night in my new house. And I chose this spot for my base for a reason, because when we go outside, look at this view. There are mountains all around us, and it's such a beautiful view. And we can also look down to the valley where this guy spawned. Go away. I'm just gonna ignore that guy and let's decorate the inside of our base. I'm gonna add a stone and stone brick floor, and then we can start bringing our resources from down here to up there. And on day 16, I created a little storage area that wasn't sorted at all. And I also have the Handcrafted mod, which allows me to craft little furniture pieces like the spruce table, so we can make this place feel a little bit more like home. And I think it would also be cute if we added some cute paintings to my base. Okay, that one is creepy. I'm keeping it, and I like this one here too. And now that my starter base is done, we need to work on a way to get easily up and down the hill. So I'm thinking we should make a little staircase leading down, and I built it all the way down to the valley. So now I need to make sure it looks organic and fits into this hill, and I can achieve that by randomly spamming dirt blocks. I also turned all of the grass in between into path blocks, so now we can continue the path all the way to my house. I also added some fences up here to make sure I don't fall down the side of the mountain, and then we can plant tons of those pink petals everywhere. And now that our first build project is done, we can start working on the valley down below. And I think I'm gonna start by chopping down all of the cherry trees to get a better overview. And thanks to the tree harvester mod, this was so fun to do and super fast as well. It's kind of funny to just watch the trees disappear. And outside from a couple trees in the hills, all of the other cherry trees are gone, leaving this very empty but messy valley behind. Oh, and a bunch of floating beehives. And the first thing I want to add to this valley is a bunch of animal pens, but not the ugly early game version. And I think I want to build that right underneath my starter house. So first we have to do a lot more terraforming. And on day 20 I'd figured out where the animal pens should go. And one of them is going to be for my sheep and the other one for cows. And I want to build a wall here that alternates between oak wood and stripped spruce wood. So we're going to have something like this, and I think it would be cool if some pillars were higher than the others. And then we can also add some slabs and fences in the mix. And on day 21 I was still working on the walls for my animal pens. Now I just want to link them up to the path leading up to my base. And I think this place is looking really nice so far. Now we can open up this sheep pen and lure all of the sheep over to their new home. I don't know how I managed to put all of these sheep into that tiny pen. Oh my gosh, I almost lured them into the cave. No, wrong way, wrong way. Now most of the sheep are in this pen, and I'm just gonna kill the other ones. I'm so sorry, because I could use some more food. Get wrecked. Another farm animal I want to get is cows, but we don't have them in our valley. So let's get our leather boots. So we're gonna survive the powdered snow because we have to go outside of the mountain again. I'm just worried about how I'm gonna get up the mountain again with the cows. I see one! Yay! It's a woolly cow. I also brought the leads from the wandering trader, so maybe that's gonna help me to get the cows up the mountain again. One step at a time. This is gonna be complicated. We finally made it to the top of the mountain, and I think going down should be kinda easy because we can just go down the water slide. Oh my gosh, don't die. Don't die. And now these cows can go in this pen here, and then we can breed them, and hopefully we're gonna have tons of cows soon. So we're getting another food supply and leather. The shocked expression on its face. But I need to do everything I can to survive in this mountain, so I don't have to ever leave this place again. Now we got the animal situation sorted, and I want to build a giant crop field next to it. And there's this creepy cave here, but that's gonna require a lot of terraforming work, and my diamond tools aren't looking so good anymore. So before we continue building in this area, we need to get better tools. So let's craft a bunch of torches because we're going back to the caves because I want to find a monster spawner. Let's just jump around these caves and also collect some resources like coal and iron. And I won't stop until I find a monster spawner. Hello, monsters. Hey, zombies, where did you come from? Is it a spawner? Please say it was a spawner. No, it was the deep dark. Why, how about we don't go this way? Stop punching me, stupid zombie. And on day 24, I was still running around the giant dripstone caves. I hate it here. Hello there. Why are they all standing there just watching me? Look how majestic that looks with the sun shining in. He's kind of cute though, but he's a murderer. But he is kind of cute. Also, do you see what I see? And it's not those zombies waiting for me to come down so they can murder me. It's this over there. There's mossy cobblestone. And you know what that means? There's a monster spawner nearby. And there's also tons of dripstone nearby that I could get impaled on. Hello, monsters. Light it up. Ah, it's Skelly! No, 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 stupid Skellies. Die. And we're getting some pretty cool loot. We got a saddle and a zombie coming from the ceiling. Let's just block this off for now. I think the first thing I'm gonna do is start digging out this room, even though I didn't bring the resources to make this a spawner XP farm yet, because we need a safe place out of this cave because the zombies are literally lining up at the door. Go away. I basically dug out the entire room, and hopefully now we have enough resources to make a little staircase out of this place. I made this super messy bridge going all the way through here and then leading out of the mountain, and then we can just jump down the hill and not fall into caves. I don't want to die. I have 25 levels. I'm so close to level 30, and the spawner is actually located all the way up there in one of those giant holes in the mountain. So now we just gotta craft a bunch of resources for our scaly farm, and we actually don't really need much more than this, so let's go back to the spawner. So I mined out the rest of the room and then set up the skeleton XP farm, and on day 26 the farm was done. We just need to get inside there and break all of the torches. So now the skellies can start spawning, and I just need to quickly escape out of here using a bucket. Bye, skellies. And down here is the little kill chamber. It's all super messy, but here are the skellies, so we can kill them. And a zombie just came down the stairs. Apparently this is not safe, so I'm just gonna close this up while I'm down here. And then I spent some time unaliving skellies for their XP, and of course their bones. But then I realized to actually use the XP on an enchanting table, I actually need the ingredients to make one and all the bookshelves. And I may or may not have forgotten that I need sugarcane and leather to make the bookshelves, and I don't even own any sugarcane. So next to breeding my cows, I also need to go and look for sugarcane. Also, looks like my lead delivery has just arrived, and they're stuck on this mountain, so let me help them. Oh no, I'm so sorry. My sword slipped. I also need leather. No, not in the cave. I needed that leather. On day 27, I decided to leave my mountain home again and search the surrounding area for some sugarcane. And while I'm out here, I can also unalive the unsuspecting cows, because I'm definitely gonna need more leather. And in between unaliving innocent farm animals, I also got distracted by pretty flowers, so I had to pick them all, which was followed by more slaying. But then I finally found water, which is a place where sugarcane usually grows, and I can see it all the way over there. Let's take all of the sugarcane, and now we can go back home to grow it there. After some more slaying, you saw nothing. And will you look at that, I found even more sugarcane. On day 28, I made it back to my mountain and decided to do something stupid and raid the Pillager outpost. I mean, what could go wrong? Ah, they're already here. Go away. I don't even have a sword anymore because of the animal slaying. I mean, nothing. And they even have a loot chest for me. Armor trims? No way. And a goat horn. Ah, they came up the stairs. Oh my gosh, the goat! What the heck? No way! I just blow the goat horn and the goat is like, you're getting yeeted. You know what? I think this is so funny. I'm gonna take the goat with me. Leave me alone, pillagers! Oh no, this is potted snow. Goat, no! No, my god! No, 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 goat! No, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. What an absolute idiot. Bye, pillager, loser. No. No! Not again, not again, not again, not again. I think I'm gonna take the goat up to my starter house because goats have this lovely habit of ramming and killing other animals. So I don't want it near any of my cows and sheep. And I think it's super funny to have a pet goat since this is a mountain base. So the mountains are their home too. And I want to give this goat a name, and he's gonna be called Rambo because he wanted to ram me off the Pillager outpost. But now we can get back to the enchanting table grind because we gotta breed more of the cows. And then we actually need a place to grow the sugarcane. And we don't have a river here, and I don't just want to place it next to water just like that. And that natural waterfall gave me an idea because instead of it just ending here, we could turn this into a little pond. And I tried to make it as pretty and organic as possible because I don't just want it to be for sugarcane growing, but also a really nice water element in my base. And now we have this really cool looking pond, and we can start placing the sugarcane by the shore. And we can also make some bone meal from the bones we got from the scaly farm. And we can spam this underwater, and it's gonna plant all of the seagrass. And our little waterfall pond is looking really cool. Day 30 was one of those classic chore days where I did a bunch of different tasks, always waiting for the next task to be available again, aka breeding cows and then running over to farm my crops while waiting for the cows to be available to breed again, and constantly checking on the sugarcane. I also decided constantly checking on the cows to breed prevents me from getting anything else done, so I went ahead and installed a mod called Animal Feeding Trough, and it basically just adds this feeding trough. And the way I understand it, you just place this down in a cow pen, and then when you click on it, you can open it up and you can place the food inside. And when the cows are able to breed again, they will just go over here and eat it, and then they're just gonna do the breeding on their own. So hopefully this is gonna work, and we're gonna end up with a bunch of cows that we can then kill for leather. Teehee. Me always doing these cute things for super sinister reasons. Look, they're doing it. I mean, it's working. They just emptied the entire thing. We definitely need a bigger crop field. And since I now have a bunch of dirt from digging out the pond, I can cover up this cave here because I want to build something over it. On day 31, I'd flattened the area and mostly terraformed over the giant cave until I ran out of dirt. So I'm thinking we can already plant the crops in the area that is covered by dirt. And I'm just gonna add little slabs and then put the water in them so the water doesn't flow all the way down to the cave. I don't want any creepers swimming up the water stream because they can do that. And after the water was in place, it was time to turn everything into farmland. And I'm so glad I have an unbreaking and mending hoe from the ancient city to do this. And now we can plant all of the crops, and I want this field here to be wheat only. And then later we could plant potatoes somewhere else if we still need that as a food source. Because right now I'm fully setting myself up to breed all of those cows and sheep, and I get infinite food from them. I just trampled my own crops. And look, my sugarcane has been growing, so we can harvest all of that, and let's plant more of it by the shore. So now we have all of the sugarcane growing, meaning the harvest is going to be even bigger next time. On day 32, I headed back into the creepy cave so I could do more scaly farming in the XP farm while the crops were growing in my valley and the animals were hopefully feeding themselves. And just staying in here with the scalies overnight just gave me so much XP. I'm already level 34, maybe even 35. Come on, die scalies. Yes, level 35 now. And also take a look at this chest. We have so many bones, and we can get a nice bow that has enough durability and some arrows. So now the monsters should be really scared. Hi, creeper. Let's see if I can get him again. Yes. Yes, got him! Let's also check on our cows. I mean, there are definitely more cows than when I left, and they ate all of the food, so we're gonna have to give them more. Let's add half a stack in here. I also need to craft the enchanting table itself, meaning we need obsidian, so we gotta find a lava pool. And I don't particularly feel like going into the caves again because of the warden and deep dark situation that's all around me. So I'm thinking we should just go and hit the branch mine because I made one when I needed to get deepslate for my starter house. We just have to make it down the staircase, hitting our head the entire time. Wait, I actually didn't bring torches. We have to go back up. Let's get some coal and some sticks. And now back down we go, hitting our head on the ceiling again. And I went all the way down to -58 because that's where diamonds can spawn. Because we definitely need more since all our diamond tools are almost broken. And I think on -Y59 is where lava legs can spawn, which is exactly what we need for the enchanting table. I mined out 6 stacks of deepslate already, and my pickaxe is almost broken. And I still haven't found a single diamond or lava. But I'm not gonna give up, and we still have 10 more diamonds, so we can make a new diamond pickaxe. And back down to the mines we go. 10 years later, I finally found some diamonds. It's been so long. It was only 2! How could you, Minecraft? I take it back, there's another one. And guess what? The deep dark is above me again. Seriously? I mined into the ancient city. I mean, they might have lava lakes, so... Hello? Ooh, no. At least I have the perfect escape tunnel. Is that the ancient city we looted before, or is that a completely different one? It kind of looks like a completely different one, to be honest. How many of them are under my base? I'm scared. Look, there's some lava. How lovely. So let's spill some water over this. Please no warden spawn on me while I mine this. I've got my 4 obsidian, and I'm kind of feeling greedy because we're near all of those loot chests, so we could try and get lucky and maybe we open one that has diamonds. I mean, the stupid warden takes so long to spawn anyway, so by the time he spawns, we can have all of the stuff already. Hello. I don't care. There's so much garbage. No diamonds. And I have protection 3 now. I mean, that's kind of good, right? Also the other side music disc, which is so cool. And hey, I also wouldn't say no to a bunch of diamonds on the floor. We're getting lucky again. And look, I just found another chest. Swift sneak 3. No way. Oh, I'm breaking and mending. This gets better and better. Also, look, I just found this really cool scaly head. Oh, yeah. Okay, we get more coal and some books I don't need. More books for my enchanting table. And we have 2 more chests to loot over there. Please be diamonds. What the heck? 2 enchanted golden apples. And let's see what's in here. Ah! Can I open it again? Got to be kidding me. Okay, I'm really tempting my luck here, but look, there are more diamonds in the floor. And my inventory is full anyways, and I don't want to get lost in the ancient city, so let's try and find our way back out again. Okay, how about one more chest? This was the first one we looted, and there's another one over there. Please no warden. Okay, there isn't even any good stuff. And it didn't even spawn the warden. Losers. Okay, bye. And on day 36, I returned to my base with a bunch of cool deep dark loot. And 10 more diamonds. Let's go. And we also got 26 books from all the deep dark loot already. And to make 15 bookshelves for the enchanting table, we need 45 books. Unless I can't do math, which I probably can't. And look at all of this sugarcane that has grown already, so we can harvest all of that. And look at all of my cows in here. We have so many now, so we can unalive a couple of them for more leather. I've got a stack of sugarcane, so let's craft that into paper. So we can craft that into books, and now we have 41. So we just need a couple more. Oh, cows! And now we have 45. Let's take a bunch of our cherry wood because we have so much, and then we can craft that into planks and then make the 15 bookshelves. But I also need 1 or 2 more books to make the enchanting table. Oh, cows! And now we can craft our enchanting table. And of course I want to put my enchanting table in a really nice build. And I crafted up a bunch of resources that I'm gonna need for the house. So let's put them all in this chest for now, because I'm gonna need the inventory space to terraform this area over here, because I want to build the enchanting house right here next to the sugarcane pond. Let's first start with a little stony foundation, and then the house can sit on top of that. We can also add some stairs here so we can easily go up and down the platform. And let's put the enchanting table right in the middle of it. And then we can place the bookshelves around this. And on day 38, I added the house around the enchanting setup. And just like my starter house, I tried to build it in a cozy mountain cabin style. And we can go ahead and decorate it on the inside. So let's add a chest and a lantern and a grindstone if we want to unenchant something. And I also got the scaly skull from the ancient city, so this can sit here. And I also want to add a bunch of glowberry vines in the ceiling. And we can just foamy them to get more and also to make them glow. And now this room is really bright and lush, and I can't wait to enchant my tools here. But first I think I want to add something else to the outside, because the space next to the house is still a little bit empty, so how about we make a little overhang here? And under it we can have a little storage area with chests and barrels. And I also added in some more greenery, and now this is looking really cool. It's time we finally enchant our diamond tools. Let's hope I actually have some lapis in my house. Yes, I have 16 lapis. I also have a whole double chest full of these flowers, but we don't talk about that. Let's first do the pickaxe. Fortune, I mean, that's good. I take that back. I've been scammed. Okay, how about we make another pickaxe and try to get something better? Efficiency 4. Yay. Yeah. I've been scammed again. And I also want to make a diamond shovel. And please give me efficiency. Unbreaking is good. Why? I've been scammed again. But I'm not gonna give up. Let's just spend another night in the scaly farm and hopefully we can get 30 levels again. And after a whole night in the scaly murder pit, I got a bunch of bones and arrows. And most importantly, 33 levels. Also, look at the beautiful view of our base up here. Let's just make a new shovel again. Please, please, please. Efficiency 4. Yes! Okay, this one is perfect. So let's also make another pickaxe. And this is the last chance because then I'm out of lapis. Fortune, seriously again? No! I mean, the pickaxes are kind of meh, but we have one efficiency 4. And the most important one is the efficiency shovel anyway, because I'm gonna need to terraform this entire area, so we need a fast shovel. And look at this. So now we can quickly get tons of dirt, which means we can finally cover up this ugly cave and continue our wheat field, which also reduces the risk of me falling into the caves and dying to fall damage, because that would totally happen to me. Now the entire space down here is covered up, and we shouldn't think about that we're 1 block away from being impaled on dripstone. And another thing we have to do is cover up this gaping hole here, and then we never have to think about the cave ever again. Okay, now it's looking better. And we can also harvest all of our crops, and that gave us 4 stacks of wheat, so we can refill the cow trough. Infinite food, here I come. I want to have crops up here and crops down there, and to easily get up and down we can make these little slab steps, and then we can get rid of the oak trees in this area. I also just noticed most of the oak trees grew with a beehive, because the floor is full of these petals, and when a tree grows next to flowers, there's a chance that it's gonna come with a beehive. So we definitely have to do something with the bees later. But I don't have silk touch, so they're just gonna be hanging in the air right now. And apparently something was shooting at me and I didn't even notice, and now the arrow is gone. How creepy. And with all of the farming we're doing, I can definitely call myself a mountain farmer at this point. Now we got a really nice crop field, and I also started working on a path. Why, excuse me for a second. Die! You stupid pillagers! Get wrecked, stupid pillagers. And I want to decorate the field a little bit more, so let's craft a bunch of hay bales. And then we can add piles of them inside of the field. And I also want to build a scarecrow on the field, but I don't have a pumpkin. So I'm quickly gonna swim up my mountain to find one. And the village is down there, so I'm sure they must have some pumpkins nearby. Oh my gosh, I almost fell down there. Hi, villagers. I'm here to steal from you again. They didn't have any pumpkins, but since I'm already out of my mountain, we can just go and search for some. The things I do for pretty build details. Pumpkins! I found them. I'm gonna take all of these. You never know when you might need them. And I found some sunflowers, so I'm gonna take them. And I found these other pink flowers, so we now have almost all of the tall flowers except the roses. Never mind, I just found them, so now we have all of the tall flowers. And it's getting dark, I'm scared. And now we can go and climb up the mountain, and it's so wild to me how high up this is. I bet if this was real life, the air would be super thin up in my mountain home, and my voice would sound really squeaky and creepy. But now we can finally add our scarecrow, and it's gonna have a body out of hay, and then the pumpkin as the head, and we can cheer it, so it's gonna have a face, then two little arms, and now here's my scarecrow, and hopefully it's gonna scare all of the creepy monsters away. And if that doesn't work, we can also plant a bunch of flowers alongside the field, and that definitely has to scare the monsters because the flowers are cute and they are ugly. I call that cottagecore logic. Yeah, I have no idea what I'm talking about most of the time either. Also, I'm still carrying my Swift Sneak book around in my inventory, so I think it's time we actually use that, so let's make an anvil. I think I've actually never used this enchantment before because I've never really looted an ancient city before, actually. Wait, was that my first time ever looting an ancient city? I slayed. And Swift Sneak. And the way it works is when you sneak, you now go super fast. Oh my gosh. Without it, you just go like this. Wait, I think this is actually just as fast as sprinting. I have cool new pants. Oh yeah. And now that we have these cool new pants and a really nice farming area, I think it's time we build something for our goat because Rambo has been suffering on this fence post for a long time. I think he's actually gone mad. And we still have a bunch of resources so we can build him a cute little home. And next to my starter base, there's this little drop here where the tree is, and the area here looks flat enough to put a stable here. We just have to do a tiny bit of terraforming. Now we have this little flat area, and I marked out where the house is gonna go. So we can start by placing some barrels, and then we can add some spruce pillars on top. And this looks like a pretty good size for the stable, so we can start by placing in the walls. I've just been using spruce wood on all of my walls, but we also have some oak trees, so I think I'm gonna put that to good use and make some stripped oak wood walls. And then we also need a nice entrance, but I don't want the goats to escape, so I'm gonna try to make this as closed off as possible. And I hope he's not gonna be able to jump through this. He's probably going to though. We just need to add a roof on top. So let's start with a nice spruce wood trim. And to match our other builds, we can fill the parts in between with deepslate. Also, the Swift Sneak is making me go so fast. And the stable's looking really cool already. And I'm just gonna decorate the inside by adding some food for the goat. And let's also add a bunch of coarse dirt around here. I also added some more decor outside. And now we just need to link this up to my base. And I think I'm just gonna go through here. And then we can link this up to our staircase here. I think it's really cool that to get to the goat stable, we have to go alongside this super narrow path because goats are expert climbers, so this passage here really gives off goat vibes. As I did find a name tag, so we can actually name the goat. So now this goat is officially called Rambo, and we can bring him over to his new stable. Please be a good goat and don't jump out of here. And with Rambo in his stable, we completed another build project. And the next thing I want to work on has to do with all of the floating beehives around my base. I want to relocate those bees and put them in a more convenient spot so they're not just floating over my path. And I really want to try to get that silk touch enchant. So back to the scaly slaying we go. And after another night in the scaly farm, we're not level 30 just yet, but my sword just broke, so I have to go back to the surface. But I'm also out of lapis, so let's take our fortune pig and go look for some. I'm really hoping I can just find some lapis on the walls and don't have to go branch mining for it. I found another unexplored area, so let's just go down here. It's a dead end. I hate caving. And I found the stupid deep dark biome again, but that actually gave me an idea because mining these actually gives XP, and we have an efficiency 5 hoe, so we can just go through this. Stupid warden biome, finally useful for something. This entire wall used to be deep dark and now it's all gone and I hit level 30 again. I still haven't found my lapis though, so it looks like I might actually have to go branch mining for it. I don't know what Y level spawns the most lapis, so I'm just gonna mine on a random stone level and hope I get lucky. At least I have an efficiency pickaxe now. I hit a cave. There's lapis in the cave. Let's try this. Ugh, and not meet the same fate as that ripstone. Swift sneak! Let's try and make a little staircase going down. And hopefully that scaly is not gonna see me. Let's fortune mine this. I got over a stack, no way. We're never gonna need lapis again. And now let's get out of here really fast. Bye monsters. And now we can enchant our tools. No, there's a creeper in my base. No thank you. Let's disenchant one of our fortune picks because we do have 2. And then come on silk touch, please, please, please. No, I mean this is good, but no. We have a better efficiency pick. Now we can disenchant this one. And we need more levels again. Let's quickly destroy the deep dark again. Correct. Give me XP. Thank you, warden. And level 30 again. Come on, please, please. No! We could also try and get it on a book and just keep checking and then just going for the lowest one and then disenchant the book and then just try again. But after wasting almost all my levels on that and it still didn't work, I had to go for my backup plan. I crafted a boat and now let's go out of the mountains again. Because if the enchanting table doesn't want to give us silk touch, we just have to make the villagers give us silk touch. Teehee. And it looks like we're coming right in time because there's a pillager patrol on their way to murder all the villagers. So we can at least rescue a couple of them. Come on, villager, get into this boat. We only need one, but I'm gonna take two just in case something happens to one of them. You know, powdered snow incidents are very common in my mountains. Come on, villager. Yes, we got him. Let's get out of here. We're almost halfway up the mountain and we haven't died yet, so I believe we can actually make it. There's no powdered snow. Come on, come on. We're out of the snow. Let's go, villagers. And now we have 2 villagers in our base. We just don't have any safe place for them yet, so I want to put them in a little hole. It's just temporary, guys. Come on, let's get in there. Now we just need to craft a lectern. Oh, cows. Get wrecked. See me leather. And lectern. Let's also grab some more sugarcane because we're gonna need emeralds. And I just have to keep rolling trades until I get silk touch. I have a feeling this is gonna take a while. 10 years later. No way, I got mending before I got silk touch. I have to take this. It's too good. And that's exactly why I got a second villager, because now we can have mending and maybe hopefully silk touch. We just need to craft another lectern. Oh, cows. And now let's keep trying. And after what felt like forever, I finally got silk touch. I just need emeralds to lock that trade. So let's try and get tons of emeralds from him. Come on, buy all my stuff. Yes, 9 emeralds. And let's lock this. Now we just need enough emeralds to buy a silk touch book. And I don't just want to wait around for the sugarcane to grow so I can do more trading. So while we wait, why don't we build a beautiful home for the villagers? And I want it to be a really big cozy cabin. So we're gonna need a bunch of spruce wood. I love this tree chopping mod. But what I don't love is this messy tree chopping area right in the middle of the valley. So I'm thinking we should tear out all of that ugly puzzle and then create a designated area for the tree chopping. And I'm thinking this corner here would be perfect. We just have to cover up all of this mess and not fall into this creepy cave. I want to have an elevated platform where I can grow all the spruce trees without the puzzle spreading outside of it. So now we can just add all of the spruce trees here, but I'm going to try to not have them super close to the edge just in case it still spreads down. And I also had a little oak tree chopping area over here, so we can take that down too. And now we can also plant all of the oak trees here. I've also had enough of this horrible water stream and the skellies that come out of this cave. And I still have a bunch of extra dirt in my inventory. So let's swim all the way to the top. And then we can get rid of this water. And then we can start covering up this annoying cave too. Also, I cannot forget about the villager trading. I need to harvest my sugarcane. And then we can do some more trading. We're definitely getting there. 1 emerald at a time. On day 54, I continued covering up the caves. And now this place here is looking much, much better. And my tree chopping area has been producing so many trees. So we can start chopping those too and finally get all of the resources for our villager house. I mainly need to craft up a bunch of spruce materials and make some more deep slate tiles. But I also need some more cherry leaves for decor, so we can also put that in our tree chopping area and then craft some bone meal and just grow the tree like that. And then we can shear off a couple leaves. I'm not using cherry wood for building because I've just recently built a whole cherry blossom village in my forever world. So even though we're not using the wood, I still want to use the leaves in this area because I think they go really well with the spruce wood cabins. And I already put together all of these resources, but I need an important resource for my house and I cannot find that within my mountains, so I need to go and leave again. And that resource is sand because I want to smelt it and then turn it into windows. And let's just steal some of the sand here by the shore. I got almost 2 stacks, so back into the mountains we go. And it started snowing just as I said that. That's kind of magical, but also kind of creepy. And now we can throw all of that in the furnace. And while we wait, I just remembered we have these armor trims. So instead of just having them sit in a chest, we could put them on a piece of armor. Let's do the diamond leggings since they have mending. And we don't really have that many color choices, so I think I'm gonna go for red. Let's put all of this in here. And we crafted a new look. Yay, it looks like little red flowers that are growing on my kneecaps. And now the glass is melted, so we can turn it into white stained glass. And then we can craft the glass panes. And now that we have all of the resources, we can start building the house. And it's going to be a really big cabin. Because I wanted to build something bigger in my valley, so I made a house that the villagers can rent. Yes, I'm gonna make them pay rent for this. And this place is looking really cozy so far. But I think we can make this even cozier. Because we do have the Handcrafted mod that I used to decorate my house a little bit. And I want to use it again to craft some oak furniture. So we could have little tables and benches out here, which means we can actually sit on the porch. Let's also craft these oak benches, and then we can add them in front of the porch. Okay, that is so cool. We can actually sit here. And I want to use that furniture on the inside as well. And we have a double entrance. We have a fence gate so the villagers can't get out, and a door that they can open very annoyingly. Just like me. I'm so annoying. I haven't decorated the inside at all yet, and I think I want to give the villagers their own bedrooms. So I built these little rooms that have these arched entrances, and since the villagers cannot escape, we can let them free roam in here. And what's even better is that I got more paper, so maybe we can get all of the emeralds. Wait, we got it! We have 17 emeralds! Let's buy Silk Touch. Let's put it away for now because we need to keep decorating their rooms. I want to give the villagers some colorful carpets so we can get some dye from the flowers. And then we just put that on the sheep and get sheared. And now this villager here can have a red bed and a nice red carpet. And this one here can have a pink one and a pink carpet around it. But I also want to craft these oak shelves again. And then we can have them on the wall. But these shelves don't look very nice when they're empty. But there is actually a way to change that. We just need to craft a hammer using iron. I have a hammer. I am Thor. And that hammer is used to change the contents of these shelves. There are several different versions, but I think bookshelves are the best ones since we have librarians in here. So they're probably as book obsessed as I am. And I also want to give them some pretty paintings. This villager is definitely a horse girl. And the next thing I want to do is work on a little staircase leading up to my villager cabin. I brought some stairs so we can have them go all the way down, and then we can have the logs going up at the side. And now this really gives cozy mountain cabin vibes. It looks so good. The villagers literally have a cooler home than I do. And now we can finally put Silk Touch on our tools. I think I'm just gonna put it on this pickaxe. Oh yeah. And now we can finally collect all of those floating beehives without the bees getting angry. And the sun is about to set, which is perfect because then all of the bees will go into their hives. So when we pick them up, they should all be in there. Yay, I got an advancement. I collected a nest with 3 bees inside. I didn't expect there to be so many floating beehives, but we got 6 of them. But I don't just want to put the bees into a chest and forget about them. I actually want to build them a beautiful home, including tons of flower fields where they can roam freely. So let's first gather up some more resources so we can build a little bee cabin. Everybody's getting a cabin in this mountain. And the best thing is, now that I have Silk Touch, I no longer have to smelt cobblestone. I can just go into the caves and just mine the stone off of the walls. But being in this cave actually reminds me that we also need to build something around this. So I have a feeling there's a mining cabin in our future. I spent the rest of the day crafting up all the resources, which was the usual spruce and deep slate, but also mixing in some stony blocks. And there was a reason that I cleared out this area where the cave was, because now this leaves a nice empty space for the bee cabin. But we're gonna worry about that in the morning because it's nighttime, I'm scared. But on day 62 I wasn't scared anymore and started building the foundation of the house, which was made out of a mix of stone bricks, stone, tuff, and cobblestone. And I think this is looking really nice so far, but now we gotta add in the cabin vibe, so we're gonna have some spruce wood pillars in the corners. And then we can fill the bits in between with planks. And I also want to have some big arched windows in the front. I used stairs to make them look like this. And I also had some glass left over, so we can add that in the back. And then we can add a little bit more decor around this. And of course the cabin roof on top. I fell. And I also want to decorate the inside a little bit. There's the cave under me. I almost forgot about that. Let's ignore the cave and cover it up again. It's kind of scary how most of my builds have creepy caves underneath. And if I accidentally break the block under me, I will so die. But now we have this nice floor, so we can add a little bit of storage here. Because the bees won't be living in here, they're going to be living outside. This is just going to be the cottage where we can store all the bee stuff. And I can hide from the bees when they get angry. And I also want to get some honey storage containers outside of this bee house. I mean, bee cabin. So now we have these big storage barrels, and once we get honey we can actually put it in here, and our bee cabin is looking really cool. But before we can plant a flower field and release the bees, we gotta figure out the path situation, because right now none of my builds are connected. So let's change that. But before I could get to the paths, I actually had a huge terraforming project ahead of me, because I need the land to be flat if I want to figure out where the paths should go. But then it was finally time to make the roads that are gonna connect all of my builds together, and doing this actually made such a big difference. This place used to be messy, but now it's a lot cleaner. And my favorite part is that I opened up the sugarcane pond and let the water flow down into the second pond. These roads aren't decorated yet, and there's still a lot to do to make them look prettier. But the next thing we have to do is actually work on the flower field so we can finally release the bees. I have all 4 types of tall flowers, so we could just quickly place them down here, and then we can just spam a bunch of bone meal on them. This really big area here is definitely gonna be a flower field, but I don't just want it to be one flower, so we can make another path that goes through here, so later we can actually walk through the flowers. And since sunflowers only face this way, we could have a little field of them back here, and then the roses can go over here. But to bring our dream of pretty flowers to life, we need a bunch of coarse dirt, and we're gonna need even more bone meal. Let's first get rid of all of these petals here, and then we can tear out some of the grass and add in some coarse dirt patches, because I think flowers look much better when they're placed on coarse dirt. And this is what my messy coarse dirt area looks like, but now we have to fill it with all of these flowers. But next to spamming these lilacs, I think I also want to add something else in there, because we need more greenery and not just flowers. So let's bone meal the ground over here, and then we can shear all of the grass. Then we can place that on top of the coarse dirt in between the flowers. Okay, this is looking so good already. And we also have a bunch of these pink petals, and they kind of match the colors of the lilacs. We could add a couple in between. I mean, it's about time we use them since I have a whole chest full of them. The first flower field is done, and it's looking really cool. So now we can already release a couple of bees. Let's grab 2 beehives, and let's also get some tables and campfires. And I want to test if the campfire smoke could go through the tables so I could shear the beehives. Let's put the campfire in the ground and the table on top, and now beehive. Okay, does this work? Yes! Let's try another one. What? Hi, bee! Look at how cool these bee nests are looking in this pretty flower field. And I really want to start working on the next flower field, but I'm out of coarse dirt, so we have to go down to the caves because I need more gravel, and the easiest way to get that is to go down to deepslate level. And then we just have to look for a gravel patch, just like this one, and then we can just speed mine through this. Oh, and there was lapis behind this. Where was this earlier? It's fine though, we have all the tools we need now. I got 4.5 stacks of gravel, and crafting that into coarse dirt is gonna double the amount. So now it's flower field time again. I have 3 more flower field spots around the bee cabin, which was perfect because we have 3 types of tall flowers left, so I made a little field for each of them. Now I'm surrounded by flowers, and this area is looking so cool. Definitely my favorite area so far. I still have to add in all of the bees though, so let's take the hives, and we're gonna have 2 more in this big field here. Yay, the bees! And then we can also add 2 more in the rose field. Now all of the hives are in place, and the bees can go and collect pollen as much as they like. And it was another great day of saving the bees. There's also another thing I want to do to make my flower fields look better, and that is adding a bunch of fences alongside the path. It's these little details that make a base look so much better. And with our beautiful bee area being done, that brings us over to our next project, that gaping hole in the ground. I want the entrance to my mine to look pretty, so let's gather a bunch of resources to build something cool around this. I also went down into my cave to gather some more stone for the build, and in between gathering resources, I also want to gather some honey bottles, because 4 bottles give me a honey block, and I wanted to add them to these storage barrels, so it looks like there's honey flowing out of it into this barrel. And on day 71, I had both honey blocks, so now my honey storage is complete. And I also crafted up all of the resources for the next build. After building so many mountain cabins, I thought it was time to build something different, so I made this really cool round build that has a lot of details. I wouldn't even know what to call this build, but I think it's looking really cool. And it's also looking really nice on the inside. I added a bunch of lanterns and some leaves so we can have the falling leaf effects. And it definitely gives off magic mountain temple vibes. And now we also need to decorate the way down into the cave, but I covered it up with dirt because I was scared I would fall down while I built and just die in the cave. But before we go down and decorate the cave, I gotta stock up on more food because even though I didn't fall into the cave, I kept falling down the pillars, so I ate all of my food. Now we can give all of that food to the cows. And I just had a really silly idea so I don't have to waste coal to cook my food. There's arson in the air. I'm basically just gonna do this, and now when they die, they drop cooked food. This is actually so cursed and so horrible. I'm so sorry, cow. But now I have half a stack of steak again, and I didn't even have to do any cooking. Unless cow arson is considered cooking. Now we can work on our way down into the cave, and I basically just want to use a bunch of stairs. And I think we could just have them go down in a circle. And now we have a safe way down into the caves, but this doesn't look very pretty, but I have an idea on how to fix that. When I went caving, I found a geode. Ew, deep dark. Let's ignore that. And I think the geode was somewhere over here. I found it again. And now that we have silk touch, we can actually mine all of these crystals. And then I also want to take some of the calcite and some of these purple amethyst blocks too. And I also just realized now that we have silk touch, we can also pick up those skulk blocks. So we can take some of those too, and those skulk vines. Let's break all of the walls next to the stairs, and then we could make some mini geodes out of calcite. And then we can break the blocks behind that and add in the amethyst crystal blocks. And of course the actual crystals. And I also want to cover up all of this dirt and make this cave a little bit smaller. And I think we could fit another geode on the wall here. And it's not every day that we have an unlimited supply of dripstone in the caves below. So I think we should use those blocks up here too. But only up here, not down in the caves, because I don't want to accidentally fall down the stairs and get impaled. Now this is really giving magic cave entrance. We just have to incorporate the deep dark stuff down here. I think I'm gonna have the wall be mostly stone, and then a couple of those skulk blocks, and then use these vines here around them to make it look like it's spreading. Also, I just realized it's not called vine, it's called vein. Ew, it's alive. I'm scared. And I think now our mine entrance is done. We have geode, dripstone, and some more dripstone here for the extra fear factor when going down the stairs. And in case case we fall down the stairs, I placed some water down here because I fell down the stairs so many times while I built this. But now we can link up this temple to the path over here too. And now another build project is done. And I think this is definitely my favorite build I've made in this world. But we still have a lot of work to do because we still need to decorate all of these empty spaces in between the paths. And that's gonna involve a lot more coarse dirt spamming. But my good shovel isn't looking so good anymore. And we do have this mending trader, so I want to try to get enough emeralds again. So far I have 2, so this is definitely gonna take a while. So while I'm waiting for the sugarcane to grow again, we can tackle some other build projects. And I just had a really silly idea. The wall behind my farmland is very ugly, so I want to build something into that wall. And the first thing we need for that build project is more calcite, so we can quickly run back to the geode and steal everything out of the walls. I'm in your walls, geode. I'm stealing your walls, geode. I crafted up the rest of the resources, and I basically want to build a farmhouse, but it's only gonna be half of a farmhouse. I just need to be super careful when I build this, because there's still the cave under me. Let's build up some pillars first, and then I got the calcite for the walls in between. When you break a block and there's just this under it, ugh, no thank you. I decorated the front here and used some oak trapdoors as open window shutters, and then we can decorate this side here even more. I want to add a bunch of stairs and trapdoors to make this as detailed as possible. Also, I keep trampling my crops while I build here. This is fine. Now we can also spam some azalea leaves on top, and I'm really happy with how this wall turned out. And then we just have to add the roof on top, and I wanted it to be another deep slate roof to match all of my other builds. Spruce and deep slate just goes so well together. And even though the house doesn't have an inside, it added so much to this area and it looks so much better now. I also have more paper to trade with the villagers, but we still don't have enough emeralds. So in the meantime, we could tackle another build project because I actually want to build something all the way up there in the mountains where the skelly farm is located. Let's get a little bit more spruce wood, and then we can climb all the way into the mountains. And up here is where I want to build something. We just need to terraform the area a little bit. And now my inventory is full of snowballs, so snowball fight. But now that I threw all the snowballs down the hill, we can finally start building in this area. I have to sleep because I'm scared. When you're living in the mountains, I think it's a must-have to have a building that's really high up as a lookout point. And we can stand in this little gazebo and look at the base down below. But you know what's better than standing? Sitting. So I brought my spruce benches and we can place them here so we could sit down and then look at our base. I also added a table and barrels here, and then we can put all of those snowballs in there. And if we go out the back of the gazebo, we can just go up here into the hills, and the skelly farm is in that cave up there. And from my beautiful mountain viewpoint, I can see that my sugarcane has grown again. Come on, villagers, give me emeralds. Oh my gosh, they're giving me a discount. I only need 3 more. Okay, 2 more. Wait, they just made it cheaper. 1 more. Come on, sugarcane, grow. 1 more emerald, and we got it. Thank you, villagers. You smell. Bye. I have mending. Now we can put this on my shovel. And I think I want to spend the rest of the day in the skelly farm and try to repair my shovel as much as possible. I just have to put the shovel in my offhand and then kill all of those skellies, and then the XP repairs it. And a little bit of skelly slaying later, and my shovel had most of its durability back. And of course we have to stop at the gazebo on our way back down and admire this beautiful view of our base. And now that my shovel is repaired, we can start decorating all of this. I'm gonna need all of my coarse dirt, which is probably not gonna be enough for the rest of the base. But I think it's gonna be enough for now because the first thing I want to do is decorate these roads. So we're just gonna break a couple blocks on the sides of the road, and of course it's gonna be filled with coarse dirt. And I think this has already made such a big difference to the path, but of course we need to decorate it more, so let's craft a bunch of fences. And I also want to use some leaves to decorate the path, and I've mostly been using cherry leaves to decorate my builds, but to decorate my roads I think the oak leaves would look much better. Day 83 was a big decorating day because I was just spamming leaves and grass and fences and flowers all over my base, and now everything is overgrown and looking really beautiful. But that leaves my ponds looking kinda bare, so I want to decorate those too. But first I need to go and look for some more coarse dirt because I'm out again. Yay, into the caves! Ow, I almost died going into the caves. Pro Minecraft, and it's gravel mining time. I got 4 stacks of gravel in only a few minutes. Now I call that a successful mining trip, even though I almost died going into the caves. And it's coarse dirt time. And I also want to grab some stony blocks to decorate the ponds so we can get the mossy cobble and the cobblestone from the skelly spawner. Also, just don't look at the mess of my chest. Don't look at it. I'm not cleaning it. Ever. You cannot make me. I want to start with a pond up here, so let's first get rid of all of the sugarcane. I still want this pond to be known as the sugarcane pond though, so we can incorporate the sugarcane later on once everything here is decorated. And to decorate that pond I want to craft a bunch of stony slabs, and then we can scatter little rocks around the water, and of course even more coarse dirt. I have a coarse dirt obsession at this point. And now we have a bunch of stones all around the pond. I didn't forget about the sugarcane though, so let's just add a little bit of it here and there. Yay, we have sugarcane. Ah! There was an Enderman. Why is he here? He placed the block down and then left. Loser, now my cows can escape. I don't want to start dying though, so let's just ignore the Enderman and continue decorating this pond down here. We also gotta decorate the water, aka spamming my bone meal. I didn't add as many rocks as up there though, because the path is so close to the pond. Also, why do I keep calling it pond? It's big enough to actually be a lake. I don't know though. I also marked this space here because I want to add something else to this lake or pond. So let's craft some spruce slabs and some trapdoors. I was just gonna complain that it's raining now, but that means the Enderman is suffering. Ah, haha, loser. That's what he gets for trying to mess with my cows. Nobody messes with my cows, except me. Anyway, let's take all of our spruce wood because I want to make a little fishing dock here. Even though there are no fish in this pond, but we don't talk about that. We could have a little path leading down to it, and this is my cute little dock. And I want to turn this whole area down here into a little fishing area, so the best thing we could add is a bunch of barrels for storage. So now we have barrels all over this side, and we also have this little bucket kind of thing. Let's put water in there, which could be for storing live fish. And I also just had another cool idea because I keep forgetting that we have the handcrafted mod. Let's make this spruce dining bench, but it's not going to be used for dining. It's going to be used for fishing. We can actually sit here and look out on the pond and the bays. I love it. And adding all of these little details around this area actually gave me an idea. Why don't we add even more of these small details all around this base? Because we still have a bunch of these empty grass patches, so we could fill them with smaller builds that fit the vibe of the space. And for the first small build project, we're gonna need a bunch of wheat, and I want to craft it into hay bales. We have this free spot in front of the field, so we can try to build a really simple hay cart here. And now we can add all of the hay bales on top, and this is what the finished hay cart looks like. I think it really fits into this area. We got another empty spot right here next to the ponds. I want to see if I can fit a water well right here. Then we also gotta dig really far down because a well always has a very deep bottom. I dug until I hit stone. I think this is perfect. Guys, I fell down the well and I cannot get out. Help me. Just kidding, I can just scaffold out of this. Let's add some water down at the bottom. And I also want to change up the walls from dirt to stone. And I think the further we go towards the bottom, the slimier the stones should be, so we can have the mossy cobble and cobblestone. Real nice and slimy well walls. And on the next day, all of the walls were decorated. Then we can attach the chain to this arch and put the cauldron under it. And then it looks like we're hauling water out of the well. Now would be a great time for the wandering trader to appear, so I can shove him down into the well. Just kidding. I totally wasn't kidding, by the way. Now this half of the base is actually fully decorated and looking so cool. Which brings us to this part over here. There's this small area in front of this gazebo, and I want to add something really cute here. I want to use the oak wood to craft some more handcrafted furniture. Then we can also take one of our diamonds and craft a jukebox. And then we can also craft something really cool out of these books. We can make a stackable book, and you can actually place them down just like this. And then I also want to craft wooden plates and cups. And now we have everything ready to build our picnic party area in this spot here. And it looks like someone just came to my picnic party, but they're not invited. They probably stood there for 5 whole minutes watching me vibe to my music, because my little party picnic area is finally done, and you can actually place food onto the plate, so we can have potatoes and steak and some mutton. And now we can have a different kind of party, a pillager murder party. Get wrecked, get wrecked, get wrecked. For the next project, let's grab all of our potatoes, and I want to add a little potato field in this area right here under the villager house, because I know they're obsessed with potatoes. They're not gonna get any though, teehee. But I want to put them in raised flower beds, so we're gonna have these little squares that I'm gonna surround with trapdoors, and then a water source in the middle, and then we can plant the potatoes around it. Then we can also have cool details like a basket here, and then we can craft gold ore into a block and put it in here, and it looks like a bunch of potatoes. Let's also add a little wheelbarrow with a grindstone and a fence gate. I think this is a really cool detail. And then opposite the potato area, we can have a glowberry growing area right here. And I made a path so we can walk around them, but I also planted a bunch of oak trees, and they've already grown, and one of them turned into a really big one. And I finally want to do something with this hill right here. We just have the staircase going up, but the rest of it is kind of messy. And I still have tons of potatoes in my inventory, so you know what's coming, right? And this time it's going to be a really big potato field covering an entire layer of the hill. And because I like this potato field so much, I'm gonna build another one right above it. Many potato noises later. And now the entire hill is full of potats, and it's also looking pretty cool. Now I'm craving fries. And we still have time for another build, and I want to put it right in the middle of these trees. And I've spent the rest of the day farming resources and then crafting them up into build materials. I also need to go back into the cave. Don't die. No. Oh, why? I do this every time. And let's take a little bit more calcite from the geode, because the handcrafted mod also has these pillars that we can craft out of calcite, and we can basically just place them on the wall like this, but they can face any direction you want, which is gonna be really useful because I want to build a windmill. I actually wasn't entirely sure if those calcite trims would work, but they actually worked so much better than I thought. I'm kind of wondering how much wind there would actually be in the mountains, but it's there in case we need it. And because I think the calcite as the windmill blades looks so good, I want to build another windmill, but this time on this empty hill next to my house. Also look, I finally sorted my chest. Kind of. We don't speak about the mess. And now it's windmill time once more, but this one is going to be a little bit smaller. And the calcite trim worked again, and this is looking so cool. Okay, windmill obsession over. Maybe. I spent the rest of the day crafting up spruce furniture, and I added a bench in front of my house and decorated this empty spot here. And now we can sit here and watch the sunset. I love my mountain home. And on day 98, I took more of that handcrafted furniture and went all around my base with it and found some good spots to put benches and little tables. And on day 99, I kind of ran out of things to do because my base was basically done. So I just went around with a couple saplings and bone meal and planted some more trees. And then I sat on my bench and watched the sunset over my base for the very last time. Because tomorrow is the last day. It's day 100 and I have a bunch of silly mountain activities planned for today. First, let's visit Rambo the goat and give him a little snack. And then I want to climb all the way to the top of the mountain. And then we can take our boat and go down the waterfall. I think this is the closest we're gonna get to skiing down the mountain and into the pond. I also climbed up to the gazebo and we can stand here and blow the goat horn. We can also look down at our base, and I'm so happy with how it turned out. This is definitely a really cozy mountain base. And I really hope you have enjoyed these 100 days in the mountains. This was such a fun project, so if you want to see more, please leave a like and subscribe. And I'll see you all next time. Okay, now bye.